My 22 female boyfriend, 26 male, is terrified of spiders and is demanding that I move my pet tarantula to the basement. I am refusing because the basement is too cold for the animal to survive. We are at a standstill, and I need advice on what to do. I, 22 female, met my boyfriend, 26 male, exactly 2 years ago. At the time, I had 3 pet tarantulas, Skittles, Mittens, and Christopher. I don't know how much you all know about tarantulas, but they live in warm environments, specifically the rainforest and desert for my T's. They also never leave their enclosures for any reason, just like a fish. A year ago, I moved into the house my boyfriend owns. Originally, the tarantulas were all placed into the basement office. It was summer, and the tarantulas were fine. When winter came, I noticed the basement was unaffected by the central heater. Only one room in the basement has heat, and it isn't the office the T's were in. In February, Skittles passed away, and I moved the remaining 2 T's to the upstairs office to still keep them out of sight. In October, it started to get cold again. I noticed that the upstairs office was the coldest room on the floor. I researched reptile heating pads, but everything said not to use them for young tarantulas. I put a space heater in the office, but a draft still made the ambient room temperature too low. I tried everything I could, but then Mittens passed away as well. Left with 1 tarantula, I moved Christopher to the kitchen dining room peninsula, where it was definitely warm enough. Christopher is in a container smaller than a shoebox in size. My boyfriend immediately demanded that I remove Christopher from the kitchen and put him in the basement. I asked my boyfriend if there was anywhere else the T could go on the upper floor besides the office, and I was told to put him in the basement. Basically, we got into an argument about this. I explained about the health concerns for the animal, and my boyfriend said he didn't care. I explained to him that whether or not he liked it, the spider was in my care, and I was ethically obligated to care for it no matter what. I said that I've had Christopher for 4 years, and that I had the tarantulas before we started dating. My boyfriend said he would think about it, but Christopher's still on the counter, and it's become the elephant in the room. What should I do? Update. I got so many hateful PMs from the last post that I did not want to update, but I had equally as many requests to update, so here I am. To clear some things up, I asked my boyfriend if the spiders were okay to have in the house before we moved in together. He said it was fine as long as they were not visible. The basement part happened only because my display case is in the basement, but there was never an agreement to keep the spiders only in the basement, just out of sight. As for the cage, I had asked to increase the size a few months ago. My boyfriend disagreed on spending the money for a larger cage. We split finances, but he's a student, and I'm the only one bringing in income. And also because it made him uncomfortable. We had been discussing it for months. For the other dead tarantulas, I have cared for inverts since I was a child. I have 3 pet scorpions as well, but no one seems to be scared of the scorpions. Now, for the update. After I got home from work, I asked to have a talk. I asked my boyfriend if there was any way to compromise about the spiders. I asked if he was willing to let me get a bigger cage and keep Christopher in the basement, and he said no. I asked if I could move the spider to a different room, and he said no. I asked if there was anything I could do, and he said no. All he said was no. I had asked him to elaborate. I asked him why he would allow me to move in at all, and he said it was because he thought the spiders would die in a few months like fish. I explicitly had explained to him that tarantulas live for 10+ years. I asked if he was willing to seek therapy at all, and he told me, "I don't need to seek therapy just because you decided to bring in a nasty creature into my house. I'm not the one with the problem. You have problems. You're a bitch. And you're even more of a bitch for thinking it would be okay for me to put up with your monsters. Only a fucking evil monster would allow another evil monster to live with her. Take your evil monsters with you and get the fuck out of my house, whore." At this point, I couldn't believe that someone I loved called me a bitch and a whore. So I just calmly went and started packing up my things. My boyfriend followed me from room to room calling me a spider whore. No, I'm not making that up. And asking me if I would rather date Peter Parker. I told him to please leave me alone so I could pack. And he got violent. He started picking up my clothes and throwing them at me, as well as kicking my legs. I then called the police and went outside to sit in my locked car. While waiting, my boyfriend was pounding on the car door. He then went back inside and returned with Christopher's cage and threw it at me. Then he kicked my cat. Well, police showed up. Boyfriend was arrested. He's being charged with domestic violence and animal cruelty because my cat has a broken rib. Christopher is dead. Edit. If another person says this isn't real, I'm deleting the post. There's no point in posting if no one believes me. My 23 female boyfriend, 23 male of 3 years, stealthily took my 11-year-old dog to a vet 80 kilometers away to be put to sleep. It was only luck I found out and got him back. BF doesn't know I have my dog back, but he comes back tomorrow night. My BF, Jay, left for a trip up the coast to help family on Friday morning. While I was at work Friday, I got a phone call from one of my ex-flatmates, Bob, who I lived with at uni. He thought he had my dog with him and phoned me because someone had dropped him off to the vet surgery he worked at to be put to sleep. Bob sent me pics, and it was my Stixie. I'd recognize him anywhere. I grew up with him, and he was so close to me when I left home to study. There were no questions about it. Stixie stayed with me. Bob kept Stixie with him, and I drove to pick him up as soon as I was out of work. Bob also showed me a phone recording he took of the vet's security camera screen, and there's no doubt in the world it's Jay dropping him off. He's even wearing the same clothes he left in this morning before I went to work. Jay has texted me a few times today, and I don't know why, but I'm not confronting him about this. I'm actually scared I will utterly lose it at him. I'm running everything through my head on why he'd do this. We talked sometimes about moving north to be near his family, or overseas within a few years. I can't believe I'm trying to find reasons for him to do what he did, or reasons for me to not rip him a new one and dump everything he owns out on the front lawn and set fire to it tonight. I'm half numb and half stunned beyond rational thought. Why can't I get functionally angry here? He texted me this morning like he normally does when he's away. I replied like normal, though we're not big text talkers anyway. He asked me a couple of times if I was okay. Everything in the texts I'm trying to read into what the hell he thinks he's hiding. Update. I have a dog, Stixie, who's 11. Yesterday morning, my boyfriend left to go up the coast to see family. He doesn't return until Sunday night. By sheer luck and nothing else. An ex-flatmate of mine working at a vet clinic 80 kilometers from me called me while I was at work and asked if a dog someone had brought in to be put to sleep was my Stixie. It was. I had him hold Stixie and I collected him Friday. My flatmate showed me a recording he made of security video at the vet clinic, and it's definitely my ex dropping Stixie off. How illegal is this? I currently live in a flat that I rent, and my boyfriend pays half, but I'm the only one on the lease. I want him out ASAP, or I want to be out of this situation as soon as possible. What options do I not have? A friend of mine once tried to have a violent ex removed, and it took months. I want to be out of this immediately. Are my only options to move? How do I protect myself from what my boyfriend, ex to me now, though he doesn't know it yet, may do to the place I rent when I return? I presume my landlord couldn't kick him out if I leave right away. He's never shown any weird tendencies before, so maybe I'm overthinking this. My boyfriend doesn't know I know what he did, nor that I have Stixie back. Sorry for the scattergun of questions. I'm scatterbrained at the moment, and he only returns in 20 hours or so, and I don't ever want to see so much as a hair on his head again. Edit and a quick update. A night's sleep with good people around me helped. I phoned a workmate to see if I could go stay there with Stixie, and she came over here for the night instead. We spoke, and we have a plan. Thank you for the links to Enias Adwatualer's laws. It looks like I might be in the clear with forcing my ex out. I am the renter. I am the only name on the lease, and we had no written agreement. From my understanding, he is a boarder or lodger and can be removed quickly. I'll have to clarify, of course, but that gives me confidence. I was freaking out because I didn't know where to start last night. My ex will be confronted with more people I know in the house backing me up.